Hey guys, this is Brian, the designer and developer of Erenshor, and this is the biannual update video where I talk a little bit about development, roadmap to early access, and just what's going on overall with the game. Just in case this is the first video you've seen on the game, I want to invite you to click on the link in the description. It'll take you to the Steam page and explain a little bit more about what Erenshor is. But as a top-line description, it is a simulated MMORPG where all of the other players are run by AI and you can play on your own time. So it's been about 6 months since I did one of these update videos, and since then I have finished building out the game world. All of the geography is completed, all of the zones are laid out and populated. There are over 800 items in the game to find so far, and the plan is to continue to add to that number up until early access release. Right now, I'm going over every single zone and just taking a second pass at it to add details, to make sure the lore is there and the story beats are available to the player, and just overall polish, making sure the gameplay experience is really solid all across the world. One of the most exciting recent additions is I've taken all of those 800 items you can find in the game and added a small chance for them to be upgraded when you find them. So now item tiers exist. You might find a regular longsword, or you might find a sparkling longsword that has more damage, more stats, and then also in-game there will be ways for players to upgrade existing items into these higher tier items. So if you are a min-max gamer, there is a lot here for you to do. I do want to give a quick shout out to all of the beta testers who have been playing the game really very thoroughly over the last year, and right now not taking applications for new testers just because the amount of feedback I have to act on is massive, and adding new testers would add to the pile. Things are going to get lost in the shuffle. I would rather wait until closer to release, and then we'll unleash a new batch of testers onto the game just to get a last look at it before it does launch to the public. Erenshor right now is on a good track to be released in the beginning part of 2025. The build is very stable. Testers aren't finding any more game-breaking bugs. There's a few typos here and there, item descriptions, maybe things like that, but it's minor. So on day one, players will have a full gameplay experience. It's not going to be an early access launch that's a tiny fraction of the game. Players are going to get about 90% of the game at launch, and then it'll be fine-tuned over the next few months to a year. I have a pretty extensive roadmap of what I do want to achieve during early access, and it's going to be adding the raid content to the game. So when the game launches early access, all of the group content is going to be there. Players will be able to level from level 1 to max level. They'll be able to explore the world, get a good grip of the lore of the world, and then slowly during early access, the raid content will be added to the game for early access players to test run and give feedback on. For those of you who've been following closely, during Steam Next Fest in October, the Erenshor demo did get an update with new content. Since then, that content has been removed again. It was a holiday event. It was a haunted version of the demo island for players to explore. It let people level up closer to level 10 or 11 versus level 6 or 7 in the current demo. And it was a taste of what's planned for Erenshor. Some of the fights were special events, and the idea is, like any other MMORPG, I can add in holiday content to give the illusion that you're really playing a live service game. Except with Erenshor, it's going to be accessible at all times. It's either going to be done through an options menu toggle, through adjusting your system clock, or through purchasing an item in the game for in-game currency, not real currency, where you would be able to unlock those events as much as you want to. All of that just goes with the theme of an MMORPG on your time. If you're on vacation for a holiday or busy for a holiday, I don't want players to be missing out on events, so they'll always be there. I also want to give a special thanks to all of the players who have supported development through the Patreon. A lot of folks have bought the tier where you can write and create your own simulated player for everyone else to play with, and those will also be added during early access. I plan to roll them out with special announcements like meet the new players, and then all of the people who created a sim player would be able to write a brief biography to be featured, and then anyone playing the game will know that there's new sim players available to group with. In these videos, I usually go over some questions that we're seeing asked from the community, whether it's on the Steam forums or in the Discord, and by far the most common question is, will Erenshor launch with multiplayer support? And the honest answer is that no, Erenshor is not going to launch with multiplayer support, and multiplayer support is not planned for any stage of development. The whole idea behind Erenshor is that it's a single-player game meant to feel like a multiplayer game, and adding actual multiplayer to that would really cloud the vision and would also mean a pretty substantial rewrite of the game, since from day one it was designed to be a single-player experience. Additionally, I want every player who plays the game to be confident that it was designed for single-player gameplay. When games offer multiplayer, you always sort of wonder, hey, would this grind be better with a friend, or would this encounter be more fun with a friend? With Erenshor, rest assured, it's designed exclusively for the single-player experience. Another commonly asked question is, will large language model AI be implemented into Erenshor? And that's a less clear answer. Right now it's no, and that's just because LLM AI takes a lot of resources to run, whether it's monetary for buying tokens for the AI APIs at the companies that host them, or it's hardware to run it locally on somebody's system, and neither one of those is a good fit for Erenshor right now. The game is set up to implement it down the road if it ever does become more accessible and appropriate for Erenshor, but everything's custom written. All of the game content is family friendly, and I can guarantee that because I wrote all of it. Once AI is introduced, it becomes a little bit more Wild West, a little bit more like a true MMORPG, in that you don't know what you're going to get, and I do want to be able to confidently market this game to people who play with kids or whose kids want to play, and I think it's important to keep Erenshor's content a little more tightly curated at this time. The last question is release date. When is early access going to start? Originally, we had said Q4 2024. And while technically the game could launch today and be stable and be a good experience, it's still improving so much week over week that I can't justify launching it just yet. There's a lot of work left to be done to make sure the game is accessible to everybody on launch day, and there's a lot of work left to be done to make sure that when you play, it's going to be a true MMORPG style experience, and you're going to have an entire open world filled with lore and filled with things to do. So early 2025, that's the goal. If it moves again, I will be fully transparent about it and why, but I don't have any reason as of today to believe it's going to be hard or a problem to hit that goal. And that sums up all of the topics I set aside for this video. If you're still watching, thank you. If you've been following Erenshor's development since the beginning, thank you. And please come to the Discord. I am an open book. If you have questions I didn't touch on here, just ask. I am active every single day. I'm happy to answer. I'm happy to share screenshots of development and anything else going on. If you want to support the project, there is a Patreon available. The Sim Player creation perk is still available at this time. That's probably going to be rolled out here shortly as well, just making room for development of other features. And as always, I can't wait to share Erenshor. Thank you again for watching the video, and have a fantastic day.